I'm just going to tell it how it is. My team for the global challenge is absolutely amazing, right? It uses Hisuian Zoroark. It uses Dengo Ape. We're using a Choice Scarf Ape here with Final Gambit. It's heavy HP investment, but it is 1 speed slower than my Mousehold, so I can still go for Beat Up Rage Fist if I feel like it. We have standard Dengo Murkrow stuff with Focus Blast Dengo to catch those King Gambits and those Insins. But the coolest thing about my team is this Farigiraf set. This Farigiraf set, let me tell you what. The more that you look at it, the bigger brain it gets. Right? We have standard Imprison Trick Room. But we have Imprison Potential Expanding Force. Why are we using Terra Blast? Look at what type we're terrestrializing into. Ghost. Now, we're not trying to hit Ghost types. While hitting things like Goldengo is nice, this is to imprison Porygon 2's Terra Blast, because standard Porygons right now are like Recover, Trick Room, Terra Blast, and sometimes like another support move like an Eerie Impulse or a Protect. So this makes it so Porygon can't hit us. Why is it important that Porygon can't hit us? Because this Farigiraf is holding an Air Balloon. Air Balloon Ghost Terra Imprison Farigiraf. This 100% checks Porygon 2 Ursaluna. This is going to be the first game that I played in the tournament, and you see it's going up against that P2 Luna, like I was just talking about. Going up against that P2 Luna, they also have like Incin, they have Flamigo, they have Goldengo, really, really aggressive stuff, right? I think this is a very solid team. You have the Mungus Free Direction. You can see that I'm like hovering, locking over like Annihilate, Farigiraf with Zoroark and Goldengo. So yeah, I think this is a very, very standard way to do it. You want to leave that Farigiraf to potentially threaten the Imprison, but also it's like just a pretty good lead. So let's just go right into it and hopefully get some wins. This is gonna be funny, right? Here we go. Let's see. So going into this one, and yeah, hopefully you guys are having fun with the global challenge as well. These are usually a lot of fun. Some top drawer memes, which is what we're going to be showing off in this one as well. So again, this is like a Final Gambit Ape, and it's weird leading Final Gambit Ape into potential P2 Luna because they could go Ghost Terra on either the Luna or the P2. It's really scary. But we see the Ape and the Flamigo lead. And one thing about Flamigo, and one of the reasons why I like being able to pause these things and talk about it, Ape's so good here, but there's a couple things that you need to know about this lead specifically, right? We're getting a Defiant proc on our Annihilate, right? So we got a Defiant proc. I'm going to pause it so we can talk about it. We have a Defiant proc, so we're +1 here, and you could think I could Final Gambit the Flamigo, I could Final Gambit the Incin, but it's actually a lot better because this is a heavy attack Ape. We can actually just close combat this Incin. If they would like to go Ghost Terra, Final Gambit wouldn't have worked anyways, but Ghost Terra Incin would be not... It would suck, but it wouldn't be the end of the world, because then we could also just like go Ghost Terra Farigiraf and hit it with like a big Terra Blast. But either way, if we close combat the Incin, and the Flamigo has to hit us with the Brave Bird, Flamigo's going to break its Sash and take a chunk of damage, and then Farigiraf can KO the Flamigo and hit. So we're actually trading a 1 for 2 by doing it like this. And it's just way better than Final Gambit. Like, if I went Final Gambit into the Incin, I'd just lose the Ape, and it wouldn't be there to take the massive hit from that Brave Bird. Which means Flamigo wouldn't take as much damage, which means they wouldn't get KO'd by Terra Blast. So you can see, close combat is the right play here. I could also just save my Ape by Terastallizing it, but I really think you want to hold on to your Terastallization in this matchup until you see the P2 Luna. Is this a review? Yeah, this is a review. So it's like, this is how I've always done my GCs. I think you get so much more out of reviewing the games and explaining the board state than just playing them live and getting cheesed in best of one. Like, I play better when I'm playing not while streaming, and I'm able to better analyze the data, you know, after. So there's that close combat. Remember, like I said, this is a heavy attack Incin. At +1 from the Defiant, we're going to be able to KO them. Remember, they can't fake out anything. We have an Armor Tail Farigiraf, and they still have to respect the threat of Zoroark. They could have thought that the, the Farigiraf was a Zoroark too. So here we go. So we KO the Incin. Look how much recoil they take. And that recoil is going to let this Farigiraf OHKO from what's left of it with the Terra Blast. And this is a heavy special attack investment Farigiraf, which is like, I think like a 110 base, so it's a lot. So you can see 1 for 2 off the first turn, and you can see I'm going to do this a lot. I'm going to send out Zoroark, but it's disguised as Goldengo, which means when I go for those Shadow Balls, they're still going to think it's Goldengo. If they have a Friskmon, they're going to come in and see I'm Specs, which like is a common Goldengo item. But like, I don't have that same ghost weakness that Gholdengo has. It's going to be very pivotal in this whole tournament. So you see the P2 Luna come out right here, right? Downloading the special attack. And this is where things get spicy, right? We just go for the raw Hyper Voice. Don't need to do anything spectacular. And just pop the Imprison. Note that I did not go for the Ghost Terra here because I'm not afraid of a Luna just clicking a Facade this turn. I'm not that afraid. Like, usually those Lunas click Protect. The very standard play for him here is to protect the Luna, get the Guts proc, and go for Trick Room. He might also go for like a Headlong Rush or something into the Gholdengo slot, but that's still playing into our plan here. We're also doing our very best to waste their Terra, which we are going to see them waste right here. And, yeah. 2 JP players with Adrenaline Orb. That's crazy. That's nuts. 4 just holding Choice Band for Dire Claws. That's actually really cool. That's cool tech. But anyways, Hyper Voice comes out hot. Look at that. Big damage. Big damage on both of them. And Fighting Terra Porygon, which means he's going to take massive damage from Expanding Force. So we imprison the Terra Blast. Remember what I talked about. It's not just imprisoning Trick Room, right? It's imprisoning Terra Blast. This Porygon can't break the Farigiraf. And now that we know the Luna doesn't have some sort of weird like Steel Terra, Electric Terra, Fire Terra, something to block or Make It Rain, the real Dango comes out and we can just click Make It Rain Expanding Force. Like, the mental gymnastics to flowchart this. And then I play it in like my first game. It was like absolutely nuts. Like, oh yes. And then we have the Terra here too. So like, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? We have the Ghost here. You can't Facade me either. You consider yourself a good singles player but haven't touched VGC. Any advice? What would you say are the main differences I need to learn perfect? No, if you're a good singles player, you're fine at VGC. I don't think there's that much. I would say learn VGC speed tiers, which are going to be just a little bit different, but that's about it. That's about it. You might want to. The biggest thing to learn would probably be optimizing your EVs for level 50 as opposed to level 100. That'd probably be the biggest thing. If you're a good singles player, you're probably a good VGC player. But look at this. Like, look at it. There's our Ghost Terra. So you can't Facade. You can't use a ground move. You can't Terra Blast. Like, oh, that's so good. Like, what are you gonna... Of course you Protect. You ain't got no other moves, bro. You ain't got no other options out here. So Make It Rain, Make It Pain, know what I'm saying? And we have the Expanding Force into this P2. Oh, it's so good. We throw the Expanding Force in there. But ain't that just pretty? Like, P2 Luna, like with this team, we're making a hard call into 3 or 4 different teams. We want to beat other Mouse 8 teams, but I really wanted to make a team that could beat P2 Luna and Psy Spam almost every time. And it's nice to know that like the flowcharts just hook P2 Luna. Like you cannot hit this Farigiraf. Unbreakable. How the mighty have fallen. Oh, that's just wonderful. So Make It Rain, Make It Pain, know what I'm saying? Ursaluna goes down for the count. Wonderful. Beautiful. Flawless victory. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's great. So good stuff. So going into this one, a little bit of hyper aggro stuff. I think that's probably like an Imprison Shandy. And one thing about my team is I'm going to really respect Sash users. Really respect. Because I'm using a lot of choice items. I have a Choice Scarf, I have Choice Specs. I have my Mirko doesn't have Protect. I only have Protect on Gholdengo and Mousehold. Right? And it's going to be really hard to break those Sash Mons. So you can see I'm going like Ape Murkrow. I really like to just set my Tailwind, Final Gambit, / like pop something. And then from there, like let's say they did go Shandy. I would just throw the Rage Fist into the Shandy. And probably like a double up into that Shandy slot, lose one of my Mons, and make it so like I can just Tailwind to win with my Mons in the back. Covert Cloak P2 earlier. See, that's nice. Dude, that's cheeky. Yeah, these are just reviews. Are we going through all 15 games? I didn't play 15 games. I played about 11, maybe. So Murkrow Ape. Very, very standard here. The way this works is we can just trade Tailwinds, check the Chomp, and then from there bring out something that checks Talonflame. So we're doing the Global Challenge right now. I mean, we're reviewing the games. So you can see Tailwinds up. So when we trade Tailwinds like this, and I just pop your Chomp, you're really out of options to check like my Gholdengo and my Zoroark. The review style works. I mean, I don't like getting sniped, right? That's the thing. And I feel like it's pretty... it helps the learning process for people that actually want to understand the reasons behind the sets and the flowcharts and stuff like that for watching games like this. So trading Tailwinds, there wasn't anything they could have really done there. Like if they wanted to go for like a Brave Bird into the Ape, be my guest, like absolutely would have been fine. But the Tailwind goes up and then you don't have your Gale Wings anymore. And then I just close with like Zoroark, right? That would have been that. So Gallade here. Dusclops is really good. I have a Dusclops team coming out in 2 days. How many games should I look to play if I want championship points? All 45. So you can see this is Zoroark disguised as Goldango, I believe. And so that's going to tunnel my opponent into like over-respecting that slot. It's also going to protect me from getting like Brave Birded in the face. So they should be, if they're anything, but Brave Bird in the Murkrow slot. But here we go. So we're going to see a Terra on their side. And this, again, the whole point of this team is to go for those big gambits, get those Tailwinds up, force their Terras and close early. I was really surprised to see Dark Terra Gallade, and I really do like that. It makes Gallade, like, not as susceptible to, like, Encores, taunts from Prankster users, things like that, and just Ghost moves in general. So there's the Flare Blitz into the Murkrow slot. It's absolutely fine. We got that big Sash Murkrow, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then they take a big chunk of recoil. And you see me go for a Shadow Ball here, right? And then if Goldango's ignored here, they just think it's actually Goldango. It's so nice. So you can see Talonflame goes down for the count, right? Dual Wing Beat, great into that Gallade. If they wanted to set Trick Room here, that would have been like suboptimal, but then like both of us have Tailwind up and Goldango's like not that much like faster than these things. They just go for a Dark Terra Night Slash, which I would say is pretty standard, boosted by Sharpness. Great play, right? But now it's time for the real Goldango. Like, they revealed that they were, 1, afraid of Goldango. They went Dark Terra. 2, they went Dark Terra Night Slash. They're big afraid of Goldango. Their last Mon does not want to deal with Goldango. And I wouldn't want to deal with Goldango either. So we see Rillaboom coming out here. Goldango making its presence known. We still have Terra up. I was thinking really hard about what I wanted to do this turn. I was thinking like I could go Ghost Terra my Murkrow to stop a fake out, but realistically if they wanted to just hit the Murkrow, they would just Grassy Glide it, right? So I was thinking to myself, Make It Rain pops both, and if you Wide Guard me, you can't Night Slash me, right? And then I can just pop shot your Gallade with a Murkrow. If you wanted to go Wide Guard Grassy Glide my Murkrow, I actually still have an out because the next turn you have to Wide Guard again and I can do something a little bit different. I also could just stick damage on this Rilla to make it go down to the Make It Rain. Because, like, I looked at this and I was like, I don't know if Night Slash Gallade has room for Wide Guard, right? Big Zoroark turn there. Yep, they wasted a Terra. Yep, they did. Yeah. What's your record? You're going to see at the end. So we're just going Steel Terra. Steel Terra is pretty good. Like, Rilla doesn't really threaten us that much. I'd rather not get knockoff. If we were going to take high horsepower damage, we were going to take that regardless of if we tear it or not. So there's the Wide Guard. Absolutely okay. Means what we do see though is if they have Wide Guard and they have Night Slash and then they want to have like stab moves, that means they don't protect, which is actually really nice for the later half of this game. So they went for the Wide Guard Grassy Glide, and you could say, oh man, now it's 1v2, you know, backs to the wall. Yo, we still have a cannon to launch because you still have to click Make It Rain. You still have to click it. Yeah, I've not revealed my record yet. I have not. So you can see Gallade gets some restoration here. And Nani? Omae wa mou shindaru. Already dead, Gallade. Boom! Dunzo, bro. Look at this. This guy thought he was cool. Cool it. Focus Blast busted. Oh my gosh. Focus Blast right in the kisser. Bro thought he was cool out here. Absolute dunzo. And then, like, worst case scenario, we die high horsepower, but, like, we would only die to a crit. And it doesn't crit. It does not crit. And we're fine. And we're still within range if we drop a Protect here to make it so Grassy doesn't KO. It's good that you didn't play the games on stream. You would have gotten stream sniped. The thing is, like, I would have, right? But also, like, if you guys knew my items, the team doesn't work. You know, if you knew that, like, if you knew the way that I played the team and that the mouse wasn't like a support mouse, the team doesn't work. If you knew the Farigiraf had like Air Balloon and Prison Trick Room, the team doesn't work. So, you know. Either way, we can live the Grassy Glide here. And they know we can live the Grassy Glide, so they actually make the right play, which is, I think, just going for Woodhammer here, thinking that they might live. But this is Life Orb Steel Terra. If I wasn't Steel Terra, they would have lived. But single target, Make It Rain, big damage, dropping the sub, hello. And we take those wins all the way to the bank. All the way to the bank. So, pretty good one. This guy has a weird team. This is the first of the, like, easy games that I think I have, right? You know, every GC, you're going to see, like, people that probably shouldn't be there. Vaporeon's kind of weird. Masquerade is weird. The thing about this team, though, I'm going to, like I talked about in the last game, I'm going to over-respect sashes. I think that's, like, the big thing, is, like, over-respecting their sash. Because that could be Sash Masquerade, that could be Sash Pult, that could be Sash Weavile. And, like, a Sash allows a Mon to trade 1 for 2, and in a hyper trade-focused matchup against, like, Final Gambit Ape, like, if I throw a Final Gambit into a Sash Mon, it's over. Because that Mon is going to kill me, and then it's going to be able to potentially kill my teammate. Really, really bad. Do not want to even go down that route. We see the Vaporeon and the Masquerade. Another thing is, because I'm using so many Mons that are choiced, like, if I want to go for, like, a choice specs Hyper Voice and you Ghost Terra, or I want to go for a choice spec Shadow Ball and you Normal Terra or Dark Terra, I'll just lose, right? And so I gotta play things really, really safe. And so I see them lead the Vaporeon, which I think is a pretty decent Mon into our team. But honestly, like, I'm not that afraid. You see, I'm erring on the side of caution and just going Steel Terra Dango. I don't want to get Sucker Punch banded from, like, Protein Masquerada. From, like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with knockoff. We're just going to Tailwind. We're just going to throw the Make It Rain. If the Sash is in the Masquerada, I don't have to respect that for the latter half of this game, and I'm good to go. So, big damage. Oko's Masquerada. And not going to lie, I wanted it to be Sash, because, like, this board would do a pretty good job of walling Masquerada, but at the same time, getting rid of Masquerada means I didn't get Sash Trick Roomed there, which would have been really, really bad. So, like, there's always, like, other sides to the coin. They go for a Shadow Ball. Imagine if this was a Zoroark. They would have got absolutely bodied, right? So, Gholdengo Spit F drops. We got a stat drop on our special attack from the Make It Rain, but it's okay. We have Haze in the back. Vaporeon's a bit of a problem, but Vaporeon can't break Dango. Like, it's just not going to break it. So, we're doing all right here. Waiting for them to send out something else. Weavile comes out here, and I'm like, okay, this is the Sash. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I'm not afraid of you. I'm just going to go Haze. Actually, I don't go Haze here. Watch what I do. I do a pretty cool play here. We just double into the Weavile because I'm making a hard read that you're sashed. And I know that I'm sashed on my Murkrow. And I'm like, okay, if you're like Sash Triple Axle, I win with what I have in the back. And I don't need to lose my Dango to, like, a fat knockoff. Like, you'd have to make a read and Triple Axle my Murkrow here. And, like, honestly, like, I don't care if you break the Murkrow. It's not that important. And I'd still get to break your Sash either way because I'm just faster because I have a Tailwind up. So I'm opting to fodder one of my Mons, right? They go for an Ice Spinner, which is not the same. It's not Triple Axle. So we actually get to keep the Murkrow. And we break the potential Weavile Sash. And there's a Wish on Vaporeon, which is pretty standard, I would say, on Vaporeon sets. You can Wish Pass, you can Wish Protect, you can Yawn Protect. Those aren't very good versus, like, Gholdengo Murkrow. But, you know, it's fine. And then from here, we can just go Haze, pop the Weavile, chunk the Vaporeon a little bit, and see the last Mon. And if the last Mon just falls to Make It Rain, we have the easy peasy GG. So, yeah, like I said, this one was pretty, not, like, easy, but, like, they just have a, we kept the win, like, as far away from them as possible. So we did a pretty good job in this one. But hopefully you guys are having a good time in the GC. Like I said, these sort of tournaments are a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff to learn if you guys like best of one mechanics. So Weavile goes down there. And remember that Haze would have went out before, like, an Ice Shard from the Weavile. So, like, we were still in, like, a great spot there. Getting rid of all this stuff. We're going to see a funny move from the Vaporeon this turn, right? I think they go for Curse. Which I thought was really funny because I was thinking to myself, like, yo, this is such a big tell that they're, like, Ghost Terra. Because, like, Wish Ghost Terra Curse with, like, the Shadow Ball. That'd be, like, actually really cool, but they didn't Terra. So, like, I know you got Ghost Terra back there, buddy. I know it's there. You just didn't use it. Either way, they would have actually KO'd themselves if they did that because they would have KO'd themselves before their Wish ticked. Either way, Pult is the last Mon. We still have Murkrow on the board. I like that the Pokemon Company did open door for people to get points from best of one format. Yeah, you can't really qualify for Worlds through just these online tournaments, in my opinion. But, you know, you can play. You can get a taste for what competitive battles look like. Yeah, Pult's probably the most obnoxious last Mon that they have here. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm not really afraid of you. I can just win. And I think I really like this play. Doubling into the Pult. Just get that off the board. I don't want to miss a dual Wing Beat. Double into Pulp, ignore the Vaporeon. You can't realistically break all 4 of my mons with that thing. I think we have Zoroark and Ape. And if that Vaporeon's moveset is like Curse, Wish, Shadow Ball, like it ain't hitting Hisuian Zoroark, right? It's not going to mess with us. We're going to be fine. So they'll throw the Wish out here. We just go for a Haze because we're already at -1. We can Haze away that Curse from earlier now. And yeah, we're just going to get this win. There's no reason to stick a ton of damage here. What we're fishing for right now is a special D-drop this turn from a Shadow Ball, because we know we can eat 1 more Shadow Ball back from them. And if we got a special D-drop there, then we'd be able to like do about 70-ish% with a Shadow Ball and make it so they can't outvalue us with like Wish Protect. So Dango gets to live for 1 more turn. And there's that Wish Tick. And so like if we had the Shadow Ball drop there, we would have been able to go dual Wing Beat Shadow Ball to get the KO. But, you know, they could take just 1 more turn. Love dual Wing Beat on Murkrow, by the way. Really, really good stuff. Double the chances to crit. It's good into Flamigos. It's good into Masquerada. It's good into Whimsicott. It's good into Rillaboom. Like, it's just like generally a pretty good move. I wish that it redirected the second hit into the other Mon if there was no other Mon. That would be really, really cool. Not like Dragon Darts that always will hit both, right? But if you get a KO, it'd be cool that if it went whoop into the other one. I think that'd be a really cool mechanic. So they go for the Wish here, but again, there's no real way that they win. They still have Terra, which is actually kind of dicey here. So I think we have Ape and Zoroark left. And so I'm going to send the Ape out and click the final Gambit. If they did want to Ghost Terra, well, then Spec Zoroark just comes in and Shadow Balls to win, right? So it's totally fine. The clutch play would even be something like, if they Ghost Terra'd my final Gambit and then I missed like a dual Wing Beat or something, like I could just like next turn final Gambit my own Murkrow and then bring up the Zoroark, bro, to just finish it off. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. You just lock in the final Gambit and take the easy peasy GG. Don't even have to show the Zoroark. So, pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. And we take those wins all the way to the bank. All the way to the bank. Cool. So, we take the wins here. This game, I forgot to... I took a break after that game, right? And I didn't show the team preview, but I'm going to pause it here and look at their team. I didn't realize I was playing the next game until and I wasn't recording. We see the P2 get an attack boost here. Look at this one. Another P2 Luna team. So you can see they have P2 Luna, but this one's like way more reactive. There's no Flamigo. There's no Dango. This is just P2 Luna Trick Room. And I have like for Farigiraf, Ape, I think I have Mousehold in this one. And either Zoroark or Dango. I don't remember which one. But like P2 Luna does not have a matchup here, bro. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you can Terrastallize either of those Ghost type to block this final Gambit. But we just go after the final Gambit of the Porygon because we don't want to get, we do not want to get, how would I word this? We don't want to get Ice Beamed. And if you want to go Ghost Terra and Ice Beam us, you know what you're not doing? You're not Trick Rooming, which means we're still fine. So we're going to over-respect this P2. We're going to throw the Imprison and the final Gambit in that slot. There was no way Trick Room was happening that turn. Because, like, their whole team would roll us if they got the Trick Room up. So we're in a good spot here. So Imprison. Big Imprison. I really like also that I put my Farigiraf in the second slot because it makes them think that it's not Imprison. When Farigiraf's in the first slot, they always think like, okay, they click that because they know it's Imprison. The order that you send your Mons out matters. So Swords Dance Luna just doesn't have any matchup here. We have Zoroark Mouse, which is, I think, really good. We're going to send out the Zoroark, right? It's disguised as Mousehold, which means if they send out like Insin here or something like that, which would be a good play here, just because like the Defiant user is gone. You think you're intimidating a mouse. That's nice. And then it makes my board look really, really passive, right? So if you send out, I think they send out Amoonguss here. Amoonguss into like Mouse Farigiraf looks really, really safe. Just because like, yes, we could follow me redirection, but you can just go like protect EQ. But wait, you can't EQ because I have an air balloon. Now you can, but like you can't, right? So look at this. Watch this. Survey says, I think we click the Expanding Force into the Amoonguss here. Love Expanding Force in this Giraffe. Like, it's just an 80 base power move. And if they happen to have, like, you can imprison their Expanding Force. If they set Terrain, like, if that guy sent out Entity here, he would just got Hyper Voice Expanding Force just melted. Like, it would have been the most beautiful thing ever. And here we go. So we're going to go Terra here. And the reason why we're going Terra here with our Farigiraf, right, is to make it so they can't Facade the Farigiraf. We don't want them being able to click Facade into the Farigiraf. And we're trying our best to like avoid any sort of damage breaking our air balloon. So Hyper Voice comes out, big damage. doing half to that Luna. Expanding Force, look at this Amoonguss. Dunzo. Look at that. Look at that. Full special attack for Farigiraf. Busted. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Facade doesn't work. It's a Zoroark. It's not a Mousehold. Mental games. Like, P2 Luna, too reactive. Too reactive. Ain't got no chance. That guy's like, wow, that Mousehold really did a lot of damage with that Hyper Voice stab. But we take those. Gastrodon's coming out in the back, but like, there's nothing you can do here. There's no way to do it. You ain't got nothing. You can't even like protect your Gastrodon and go for like Earthquake because it's Air Balloon Farigiraf. It's good stuff. We just take the damage here. I think we double into... I don't remember who I double into, but it doesn't really matter. Even if the Gastrodon, even if they like protected Luna and like Muddy Watered to break my Air Balloon, I'd still have enough damage to KO the Luna with a Hyper Voice. So I think they go protect Earthquake, but I don't even give them the shot to do it. Hyper Voice just finishes off after a Burn Tick. Right, so easy peasy. I think we need a crit. You know we didn't even need it though, because we did it 50% the turn before the Burn Tick. So easy peasy. And yeah, pretty nice stuff. Pretty nice stuff. P2 Luna. No matchup into this Farigiraf. Absolutely no matchup into Farigiraf. It's what we like to see. I mean, when the team works, it works, right? So this one's going up against... this one's going up against, like, Whims Typhlosion, right? And Whims Typhlosion is actually not a good matchup. This is a really bad matchup because we don't know if they're Scarfed, Specked, Sashed, Orbed, Charcoal, Goggles. Like, it's really hard. And I lose this one. So we see Whims Typhlosion off the lead versus Mirko Dango, but I think it's Zoroark. Yeah, it's Zoroark here. Because I'm trying to make it so... What I was trying to do here is... I made a board that says, like, hey, you outspeed. You don't need Tailwind. You know what you should do? You should click Sunny Day. Right? So I thought to myself, they're probably going to click Sunny Day. And they're probably just going to go right here. But remember, Zoroark outspeeds Typhlosion. So, like, I'm fine to be able to do what I want. And then if I Sucker Punch from Murkrow into the Typhlosion... and you didn't Terra, you'd be too weak to KO either of these guys with Eruption even in Sun. That was my idea, right? Did it go that way? No. No, it didn't. But it's a hard, like, team to break, I think. I think it's a hard team to break. So yeah, I'm looking at this. I really want to get the Whims off the board, but I also really want to respect the Typhlosion at the same time. So they are going Terra here. And I'm just so surprised... that, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like, what would you guys do if you caught this lead, right? I don't hate my Sucker Punch play, but at the same time, like, trading Tailwinds is fine. I don't know why they Terra'd. That's the thing that's the scariest part. I don't know why they Terra'd. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Terra there either. I just, like, Big sad. Big sad. Yep. And now, like, the only valuable thing that we have going for us here is the fact that we haven't Tailwinded yet, right? So now when I send out something else and I stagger that Tailwind, I'm having an extra turn of Tailwind in the back. So I tried a risky lead. It did not work. We have to go Ape here. We still don't know. The issue here is also we don't know what type of Typhlosion that is. If you're a Scarf Typhlosion, you're faster than my Ape. If you're any other Typhlosion, I'm faster than you. Right? And so I have to make some reads here. I can't Final Gambit. I'm way too far behind. If I lock in close combat, you know, what's your highest placement in an event? I've won a bunch of events before. I've won mid-seasons. I've won Premier Challenges. I've top cut multiple regionals. So, yeah, I've done a bunch. So we just go for the Tailwind trade. They protect Typhlosion, which tells us it's not choiced. They go for the Moonblast. We're actually soaking this damage because I'm trying to save my Terra for the latter half of this game if I can. It doesn't really matter that I take damage here. We're going to get the Whims off the board, and then we're not afraid of Tailwind anymore, right? Rock Slide plus dual Wing Beat into this Whims. This turn we'll be able to get the win. And then, like, I'm still assuming that I outspeed the Typhlosion here. This is where we save our Terra for the Ape, I think. To be able to soak the Whims move and then potentially threaten the Typhlosion, because now we know that it's not choiced. So they make a really good play and pivot it out. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, I'm actually getting back into this game. That passive play from their Typhlosion was exactly what I needed. And at the same time, what I'm doing here by playing this a little bit passive and getting 2 Moonblasts into my ape is I'm building Rage Fist stacks if I did want to pivot it out ever, right? Because I'm going to get a KO on their Whims this turn. I'm going to take a second Moonblast. And then if I were to make a passive play, like, and pivot my ape, make a read on some Protects or something where they try and wait out my Tailwind turns, I'd have 2 Rage Fist stacks and be able to come in and just, like, pop the Electabuzz, pop the Typhlosion, just be in a great spot here. So that's my thought process. So I'm like, if you send out the Typhlosion here, I just go for the big Rock Slide, right? Get the KO on the Typhlosion, potentially punch the Electabuzz, that'd be great. If you were to send out something else here, depending on how aggressive it is, if it's passive, I pivot, but if it's aggressive, I have to still Rock Slide and hope for flinches, which isn't great, you know? They go for the Luna here, which again, man, that really sucks. I have to just flinch things, which, do I really want to flinch things? No, and so I have to pivot up my Murkrow, because now I need Murkrow to actually stay in and reapply that Tailwind in the latter half of this game and still threaten that Typhlosion if I can. So Murkrow pivots for Dango, and what I'm trying to do here is get a double flinch. Maybe like a Protect, flinch, like that's kind of where I'm looking. We see the Protect and the Luna, so they still don't know that my ape is Scarf, which is really good for me. And we're going for a Rock Slide. We need to flinch the Electabuzz. We have to flinch it. Have to do it. Look at that damage. And so we do flinch the Electabuzz. And right here, I'm like, dude, I'm actually going to win. Like, I'm looking at this board, and I'm like, bro, I win. I got this. All I got to do is just break this Electabuzz without losing my Mons, and I win, right? And so I go for the Rock Slide. I go for the Make It Rain. You still have to Make It Rain because you still have to respect the Ursaluna here. And unfortunately, I don't KO the Luna. Look how low that guy is. Modest Dango would have got it. Maybe a high roll could have got it. But unfort, and we don't get a flinch this time. And actually, yo, thank you for the raid, Rishi. How's it going? Unfortunately for us, I want to thank Rishi and give a shout out. Let's do this right now. I was in their stream a little bit earlier. Hopefully you played some more games. I know that you were streaming the GC a little bit earlier. Let's go shout out. Go follow Rishi if you haven't yet, by the way. Only person I really watch play VGC nowadays. Top 50, 11-1. Oh, sick. Great. Ended 34th. Great. Yeah, I was telling you, like they were talking about, you don't want to play all your games at once. You want to just play a few games and let people's ELO like catch up to where when you, the easiest way to start it, you don't play at the very start, because if you're 1500 and you fight 1500s, you get 15 points if you win, you lose 15 points if you lose. But if you're 1500 and they're 1560 and you beat them, you get like 19 to 20 points if you win, and you would only lose like 10 or 11 if you lose. So just by waiting a little bit to play your first set of games, you get so many more points for wins, and you lose so much less for losing. If you really do care about points, that's the way to do it. I also wouldn't recommend saving all your games for the last day, but you want to play like the middle of like the second day, which is, you know, going into now and tomorrow. So that's how it works. But thank you so much for the raid. Yeah, I missed the KO on the Luna, and I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, well, even if the Luna gets this damage, if it doesn't tick out here, I just bring out Dango and go, Haze, Make It Rain, and I win, right? But it's orbed, and I tick out, and then they just bring out Typhlosion, and I lose. And I'm like, oh my god. So not only did I not do enough damage to KO it, I left it up with just enough damage to faint from orb, and now I'm pinned, because now my Dango's at -1 speed, which means if I Haze, they still outspeed me with the Typhlosion. And if I Tailwind, I don't have enough damage to break anything. And the thing that's going to tilt me so bad about this turn is they misplay really bad. They misplay so bad. They, like, all you have to do this turn is just click Heat Wave. You click Heat Wave, you win. You could even, like, low-key kick, like, a single target move. That if you have, like, a Flamethrower or something like that, like, even just Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball works. They go Protect E-Web, and I don't KO the Electabuzz with the Make It Rain. Which means I could have actually just went like Tailwind Shadow Ball into Haze Shadow Ball win. And they gave me a win condition when they had no business doing that. Like, they gave me options to crit. They gave me so many options. Yep, and look at that Electabuzz health. Look at it. Never lucky Dango, bro. Big sad. And you had the Tailwind there, because remember, I was at -1 speed. Haze wouldn't have got it. If I did Haze, though, if I did Haze and Make It Rain, I would have KO'd the Electabuzz. And then I could have just went Tailwind, Shadow Ball from there and won. So, like, so close. So close. At this point, you just try and go for the Make It Rain. But, you know, there's no way to win at this point. The only way would be, like, a crit Make It Rain into the Typhlosion. But, yeah, they just outspeed because we're, you know, at -2. So, oh, well. Haze does work as good as gold. You know, Haze does work on good as gold. But yeah, they definitely misplayed. And then I almost still won. This guy's team is another one of those teams. You know, because we got a loss, we lost some points. We got smacked down into fighting someone that's at the very start. This is not a great team from them. And so you can see we can just open up like Murkrow Dango. Like, there's no wide guard users. The worst thing that we have to really be respectful of are sashes on things like Gengar and Glimmora. Also, respecting multi-scale Dragonite. Like, multi-scale Dragonite can be very problematic. So, you're going to see us, like, really over-respect and show that there are different ways to play Murkrow Dango than just clicking Tailwind, Make It Rain, Haze, Make It Rain, right? There's a lot of different ways to play it. And I'm going to say this is what makes, like, me playing Murkrow Dango, like, a little bit different from, like, just your random ladder, is knowing when you don't need to set your speed control. A lot of people would see this board and they're like, yo, Tailwind, Make It Rain? No, we don't want to lose to the commonalities that our opponents can have. They can have multi-scale, they can have sashes. It's actually a better play here because Gholdengo outspeeds Dragonite and Gholdengo outspeeds the Glimmora, right? 84 base speed's higher than 80 and 81. So you can just, and Murkrow outspeeds the Gholdengo because it's a 91. So you can just break the Dragonite multi-scale and just win the game. What are they going to do? Normal Terra Extreme Speed? That'll clock our Murkrow Sash, right? And we would still just get their Dragonite off the board. And if they want to commit Terra here, well, like, that's fine. But then that's a wasted resource that you can't threaten any, like, back KOs with. And we don't even really need Tailwind to win this matchup. Their only fast mon's Pult, and we can just check Pult with, like, the latter half of our team. So you see, we are forcing their Terra. They are slower than us. And they go Terra on the Dragonite. And they go Dragon Terra, because again, this guy's team's not great. But it's good to know, like, when you can capitalize and just win games. Right, so they go Dragon Terra, big damage here. Dual Wing Beat's going to break the potential multi-scale, which it doesn't even look like it was multi-scale here, because they took the same damage from both hit. Glim is 86. You're right, Glim is 86, but, like, a Timid Glim has no threat on Dango, even with crit Earth Power. So we're fine. Dunzo. But you're right, Glim is 86. I don't know why I said that. Either way, both of them are gone. Dunzo. And now, we didn't even set the Tailwind. We can just Haze. Like, we could have Tailwinded there, but we probably wouldn't have KO'd the Dragonite. Honestly, like, you don't just OHKO Dragonites. Especially, like, in-game teams like this. This looks like an in-game team to me. It might be, it might not be. But, you know, if the Dragonite had, like, random in-game EVs, you know, you end up KOing a bunch of Bidoofs. You get a lot of health points on random Mons. So we just take those wins. They send out Claude and Pult here, right? Clodsire is a good Mon. I definitely respect it. And so I'm looking at this board state, and I'm like, okay, Pult can't threaten us. Their Terra's down, so they can't even go, like, Terra Blast, something weird. Am I fast Murkrow? I am. I'm full speed Murkrow. But, yeah. And it means we outspeed Ape, we outspeed Flamigo, a bunch of other stuff like that. So look at this. You could say, well, you could Tailwind now. And it's like, actually, I don't need to Tailwind now. The only thing you actually could do is, like, protect your Pult or Phantom Force your Pult. Which means I'm going to let you Phantom Force it, right? I'm just going to Haze and try and pop your Claude. And if you like, don't Phantom Force, like, if you just throw, like, a Dragon Darts out or something like that, like, I'm just going to OHKO your Pult and next turn finish off your Clodsire. So we get great damage into Clodsire. We can eat any moves it wants to throw out. Stomping Tantrum, High Horsepower, Earthquake are fine. You can see right here. And if you do go for the Phantom Force, remember, I have a ton of normal Mons in this team. You know how it goes it. So, yep, dodge the EQ. Murkrow, what is it? Gholdengo soaks some damage here. And we're still fine. And so we threaten the KO on both. We could actually Tailwind and just KO that Clodsire, but we don't want to get Protect baited. So the way that we play this is just going to be a little bit different. We're just going to have Murkrow finish off the Clodsire, and we're going to pivot in our Zoroark. I was thinking if I want to go Zoroark or Furgraph, I'm going to go Zoroark just to flex, right? Zoroark's going to come in here. Clodsire is cool, yeah. But yeah, we're still giving them the respect of, like, a good player. We're playing around Protects. We're delaying our speed control until we actually need it. There's the Phantom Force block. Air Balloon's great. Yeah, I like it. So, boom. And they are Rocky Helmet on this Clodsire, which means, hey, they did damage to the Murkrow, but they are going to be able to get KO'd here. And this is like the funniest turn. SB Crash, happy to hear you like that Snorlax video. Look at this turn. See, the reason why this video is like, this game's still in this little video, look at how nutty this is. Look at this. So we Tailwind here and have Zoroark just finish off the Pult, right? Look at this. He Quick Claws us with the freaking Dragapult. And then we 5D chess him again. Because, like, he's like, ha, I stopped your Tailwind. I'm going to O-code that with a big U-turn. And I'm like, U-turn D's, bro. It's Zoroark. That's not very effective. Like, you thought you had me. You thought you threw a Hail Mary to win the battle, not the war. And I'm like, nah, bro, you still got checked, bro. 8D chess dunzo. Oh, like, even when you outplay my outplay, I outplay that outplay that is your wildest chance at even doing anything. It's good. Good stuff. That was great, right? Isn't that sick? So this guy has Archrain with like Metacham and Slacking. I don't know what those guys are that for in the bottom. Probably some sort of like weird skill swap, pure power type thing. Don't really care. Quick Claw Dragapult, something else. And the fact that we checked the Quick Claw Dragapult so perfectly was just great. Right? So this guy has like standard Archrain, but also that weird Slacking thing. Don't really care. What you do want to do against those sort of weird things though, you want to go Mousehold. Mousehold's really, really good here because you can just follow me away beat ups. If they wanted to go like Mousehold Archaludon, you could follow away the Pop Bomb / beat up. If they wanted to go Metacham Slacking, you could just follow me away the skill swap. So you're in a good spot. But you see me do this lead before, right? You just pop the Pelipper, pop the Archaludon, game over, right? I respect that you treat each person at GC like they're wolf. Well, you just play people correctly. Like, you don't... There's no reason to play sloppy just because, like, you know they're bad, right? That makes everyone worse. Because you don't know that everyone's bad, you know? Either way, this guy's going to get messed up. The only outplay I think they could do here is, like, a Ghost Terra, right? Protects aren't going to do it. I'm still going to roll you. You'd have to go Ghost Terra on one of these. And... I kid you not, when I saw the Terra here, I was like, no way they read this. But they didn't. They didn't. So, they go Grass Terra, which isn't even wrong. Because, like, if I did want to go for, like, a close combat or Drain Punch or something, like, you know, I could see the value there. That's right. Gotta respect everyone. That's right. Gotta respect everybody. So we go for the big normal Terra Pop-Bomb. You may be thinking, why did I Terra here? Now, I don't know how that Pelipper's built, but let's say that's like a standard Pelipper that's holding a Rocky Helmet. We actually need to outvalue the Rocky Helmet damage that goes back to us. And if that was a full HP defense Citrus Berry Pelipper, this Pop-Bomb still gets the KO. Right? So you do need that. Also, by going normal Terra, it makes so I only have to hit like 5 or 6 population bombs against like... a standard 252 speed special attack Pelipper, so it makes it so I only have to hit 6, so I don't have to hit all like 8 or 9 or 10, so it makes it so I can finish it off without having to risk a miss on those later numbers. So I don't mind blowing the Terra there, because we trade a 1 for 2, and we got their Terra out of it. Imagine that was Sturdy Arch. It's not, though, on this team. That's the thing, like, what's it gonna do? Come back and KO the Mousehold? Like, both my Mons in the back still check what they have. It would suck, right? But, like, it's just not. Right? It would be bad, but it's not. So here's their Ape, and here's their Mousehold. And I'm looking at this, I'm not going to lie. You know, we're talking about treating everyone with respect. I could have played this turn better. The correct play this turn is Protect Goldango, Pop Bomb their Mousehold. It's the correct play. It makes it so if they win the speed tie and get like a beat up off, which they do win the speed tie and get a beat up off, they can't check our Dango, and then next turn we just go Follow Me Shadow Ball, win the game, their Terra's down. So they won the speed tie, because our Mouseholds are both full speed here. And I KO their Mousehold with a Pop Bomb, and then it's down to like Annihilate versus Dango. And of course they're running a faster Ape, so their Ape's going to be able to Rage Fist my Dango. I should have just protected. The only way that I would have like lost there is like if they would have won the speed tie and like Pop Bombed my mouse first, and that's why I still did that play. I wanted to force it, because you can't Pop Bomb my mouse and beat up your Ape. Right? So I forced this situation, and it kind of sucks because like my Mousehold cannot really hit Annihilate, right? I can't hit it. And if you remember what my last Mon in the back is not a great one, is Murkrow. But Murkrow is busted. Murkrow's busted. Look at this board. Look at this. Here we go. So I'm looking at how we win here. You have an enabled Annihilate with Rage Fist. And I have this Mousehold that's not doing anything. So, it's dual Wing Beat time. It's time to throw some dual Wing Beats here. We drop the Protect because the way that we lose here is I dual Wing Beat, go, and you go for a Drain Punch into my Mousehold. That would be the L. Because look how much damage that does. Look at it. And if you were to Drain Punch the Murkrow, I would then be able, if you Drain Punch the Murkrow, you're like, oh, you just Drain Punch Murkrow and win because you get a lot of health back. But no, then I would go for like the Follow Me, Mousehold, or Dual Wing Beat, and then I have like, if I crit one of those 4 hits, I win. That's how that works. He went for the Beat Up anyways, did not matter, and now we just win. So Beat Up's fine. And Beat Up does 2 hits. Technician boosted, boys. Like, we take those. Look at this. Look at this Beat Up damage. Look at this. Busted. Look at that. Nice. That's through a +1 defense boosted Annihilate. And Murkrow just finishes it off here. Murkrow busted. Look at that. He wasn't expecting the aggro full speed Murkrow. They never do. They never do expect it. Should we take those wins all the way to the bank? Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Cool. And we take those wins. Our train is down. So this guy's Dozo. So looking at this, like, standard Dozo stuff, I love the Suimons are showing how good they are in this reg. Yeah, they're all good. Murkrow hitting surprisingly hard. Murkrow's stronger than Talonflame, guys. It's not bad. So probably like Sash, Whims, Scarf Ape, maybe a weird Tatsu item. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was Ability Shield for this tournament. Probably some sort of Choice Dango. Don't know what items on that Glim. I'm assuming Power Herb. And then Dozo's probably like Lefties or Clear Amulet or something. But Dozo's like a hard matchup, but we have one line that's really good into Dozo. We need to make them over-respect Murkrow, right? They're going to see that Murkrow and they're like, yo, I got to get that Murkrow off the board, bro. So we're disguising our Zoroark as Murkrow and then and trying our best to get like a 1-for-2 trade. So they have to lock in Dozo and then we just bring out Murkrow, right? That's the idea here, right? And if for some reason, like let's say I lead the Zoroark and they're Murkrow, and then they don't go after the Murkrow, that tells us like, oh, they're just not Dozo in the back, right? So you can actually tell what their Mons in the back are based off their leads and how they actually play turn 1. So this board, they could have Glimmora and Ape in the back, and that'd be a great closer. If they doubled into our Dango or went like Tailwind Shadow Ball into our Dango, that would mean that they don't have Dozo. If they Moonblast the Murkrow and make it rain or do anything, if they Moonblast the Murkrow slot at all, which is a Zoroark, that means they have Dozo in the back. Right? So we are in a great spot right here. And there's not that much you can really do about it. Like, either way, I know what 4 you're going to be bringing, and I'm going to be the one dictating play and forcing you to react for the rest of the game. So, I mean, that's my thought process going into this. But, here we go. Loving that Zoroark strat. I'm one of the best Zoroark players in the world. I'll say it. Like, there's not that many of us. There are more people playing Zoroark in this regulation than ever before. But that doesn't change the sweat equity and the years that I put into playing both Zoroark forms. Like, I know exactly how to make this mon work. And always work. You very rarely see me do a Zoroark strat that just flops. It's rare. It always gets me what I want. See, because right there, you could set Tailwind. Right? But if you set Tailwind, you know what you're not doing? You're not hitting the Murkrow slot. And that means you're telling us that you don't have Dozo in the back, right? So they forced themselves to reveal that they had Dozo, and they blew their Terra to not die. If they didn't go Terra, Fire, Whimsir, by the way, I would have just gotten a KO right there if they weren't sashed. This tells me they're probably cloaked. And see, they have to go Tatsu already. They can't go the Dozo yet. They can't do it. But yeah, if they would have just lost their Whims right there and had to go right into a Dozo Tatsu, that's game. Murkrow comes out. So, I like the Fire Terror. That was actually pretty smart. But there's nothing they can do here. Yeah, we just need to double into the Whimsicott. If we get the Whimsicott off the board, they have to lock in the Dozo. And I'm not really afraid of a Tatsu here. So, we see what they want to do here. See what they want to do. The only thing I'm really afraid of here is, I kind of want them to Tailwind. Because if you Tailwind in Muddy Water, you won't KO my Dango. And then I still get a trade with your Whims. They actually make the right play here, which is popping my Zoroark. And now I'm going to take out their Whims, but I'm hoping that I don't die till Hydro Pump. I did not play all 15. I played until 1600 and I stopped. So Whims goes down for the count. And Tatsu has a chance to go for a big move. Survey says, I think it's Muddy Water. Yeah, And Muddy Water's not enough. Hydro Pump would have got the KO, but again, it didn't really matter because Murkrow Mousehold, we would just be able to come in with our... If let's say they did KO us right there, we would go Murkrow, Mousehold, we'd go Haze, Normal Terra, Pop Bomb, break the Dozo, Pop Bomb, break the Tatsu. Easy peasy. If you had Ghost Terra on the Tatsu in the back after the Dozo gets broken, I have Sucker Punch Murkrow to win the game. Mudsdale's cool. Body Press is better, I would say. But yeah, there's nothing Dozo can really do here. They like to delay the inevitable, but it doesn't work. Good stuff. So yeah, Dozo can't really do anything here. Haze for days, making plays. And there we go. Not that much. Not that much they can do about it. No more Dozo. Dango also loses its -1. Not that it really matters because they're unaware. Big damage into Dozo. We take those. Take a Life Orb chip. And if you wanted to go into the Murkrow slot, that's fine. You leave the Dango up and get doubled. They go for an Order Up, which is funny because they don't even get the KO because they lost all their boosts. And they get Lefty's procs. But you can tell, there's no way that you actually like win this matchup. Like, we've beaten all the P2 Lunas. We've beaten the Archrains. We've beaten the Dozo teams. Like, our team works, right? Our team works for this tournament. Dozo protects the lefties tick. Again, there's not that much they can really do about it. And then we still have Mousehold in the back, and Mousehold's just great at closing things. So we're good to go here. I could have also just led Murkrow and pivoted if I didn't have Zoroark. You can make the same type of play. Like if the saying is like you just pivot out the Murkrow and see if what they actually want to do to over-respect it. Because, like, even if they wanted to lead one piece of the Dozo, like, let's say they led, like, you know, Goldango Dozo and are, like, baiting me into staying in and hazing and just going, like, for Protect, Make It Rain. If we pivot out and come with something that won't die to the Make It Rain, they have to basically show their hand. And so we get the KO right there. I think Dango ticks out here from Life Orb, but Mousehold just comes in. And we have that same pin that I was talking about with the Mousehold. We have Pop Bomb and Sucker Punch. So if you go Ghost Terra on the Tatsu, which is very common, this guy didn't Terra yet, to block the Pop Bomb, you get 2-shotted by Sucker Punch. So it's good. There's nothing you can really do here. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yep. And I was thinking about it, I was like, you just Sucker Punch it. And there we go. The Sucker Punch also coming out first makes it so we need less Pop Bombs to finish off. And Tatsu goes down for the count. Tatsu goes down for the count. Alright, so I've been on a pretty big win streak at this point. And we take the wins. And we're going into this one. Oh yeah, I forgot I played this one. I don't know how this guy was at like 15-20, which means he beat somebody. I think it means he beat like either 3 people and lost one, or 1 easy guy and 1 hard guy and then lost one. You're right, he did Terra Whims. I completely forgot. I was playing around Terra that last guy couldn't even do. Damn, we're gaming out here. Dreepy, I know, right? Like, what? Solar Beam Arch? Yo, that's the new tech. I'm doing it. Write it down. Write it down. Solar Beam Arch. Like, the Archaludon had Solar Beam. I didn't even know it got Solar Beam. But Braviary Hawlucha, this is just another example. Like, you don't need to, like, massively big brain outplay every opponent. Look at what your opponents, look at what their speed control can do, look at what their defensive options are, and just win. Like, honestly, terastallizing Dango here is not required. I'm either going to be clocking sashes or KOing things without my Terra. And if I do Terra, you know what that opens me up to? It opens me up to fighting moves, which both of those mons carry. I Oko the Hawlucha, we take those. And yeah, I could have, like, Oko the Braviary if I Terra, but I don't need to. Like, I'm not afraid. If we trade Tailwinds, I still outvalue, right? And if you're bad, like your team says you are, you massively lose. Like, the game is just over. Like, that aerial ace, no. Ace, the helpful place, you know, not gonna be it. So we just outsped, killed the Hawlucha. This turn we can just haze do it again. Like, we're in a great spot. Like, easy peasy. I'll take my free win, you know. We take those free wins every once in a while. But I think I also have, I don't know if I have Mouse or Zoroark in the back, but there's nothing they can do. They're waiting here. Yeah, that's right. But, yeah. That's right. Yeah, thank you for the follow. Hopefully you're having a good time in the GC as well. Duraludon. Like, again, there's, like, nothing this guy can really do. We just haze, pop him. And, like, what are you gonna do? Like, Dark Pulse Archaludon? Like, what moves are, like, beat up? You can use Pop Bomb. You can use Scale Shot. You can use Pin Missile. You can use Fury Attack. You can use Rock Blast, Icicle Spear. So those moves are all like that. So, big damage. And see, we do big damage back to Archaludon. We crit the Braviary. Never lucky for them. Didn't need it. Braviary has such a cool model, though. So what's Focus Miss for the Arch? No, it's for King Gambit. We already popped a King Gambit. We popped an Incin earlier. Yeah, Bullet Seed. Yeah. But yeah, we popped a King Gambit. Actually, did we pop a King Gambit? No, we didn't. Shh, don't tell me. I'm going to ruin it. All right, Quaquall's Osmon. So yeah, in the safe scenario, we just go into the Quaquaval. And this turn, we pop the Steel Terra because we're going to be able to outvalue the Archaludon. So again, it's kind of win when you feel like it. It's still important to include these games, I think, because it shows that, like, you don't need to 5D chess everyone. You create, like, I have enough speed and I have enough damage, and you just never let them in. You got to know how to win easy. So, like, that's what I always tell people, like, when you're playing games and you're playing, like, you know, you need to play like 100 games with the team to test it for a regional. You don't need to do the same lead that works every single time if you know it works. Like, I don't have to practice my Murkrow Dango openings. Like, I know those work. I'd rather be, when I'm laddering and, like, practicing for a tournament, I'd rather be leading almost suboptimally and trying to find my way out of pins and coming up with other weird situations that I can, like, force in games 2 and game 3. I don't need to practice the thing that works every time. In a tournament like this, yeah, I'm going to do it, but I didn't need to practice it. All right, here we go. Look at this one. Look at this guy. This guy's team is weird, right? Isn't this guy's team weird? This is a weird team, right? Murkrow trades, T-Tar. I can't tell if they're good, right? I cannot tell if this guy's, like, really good. But this is another example of a game where I could play more optimally, and I don't. So this is another hindsight 2020, which is good that we're including it. This guy had like 1542, so it's like they'd won a couple games, but like I definitely low paired into them. Wabaluna on Giraffe, you missed it. It's good. It's good into a P2 Luna. So I lead. I'm trying to final gambit something, right? And then they're like, they lead with like 2 potential Sashmons, and I'm like, and it's so weird seeing potential Sashmons on teams that can have a T-Tar. It's just so weird, and so I'm just like, oh, this is ass. The good thing here is we're going to be able to break the Flamigo. Flamigo, I think, is base 90 speed. So Ape and Murkrow outvalue. I didn't play 100 games with the team I made day 2 Baltimore with. Probably explains the 0-3 day 2. Yo, Lamau. Lamau. But yeah, we just double into the Flamigo. I was really thinking if they were going to pivot T-Tar. Because if you pivot T-Tar and Power Gem my Murkrow here, I, like, lose the game. I'm just letting you know right now. I would have lost the game if they did that. Like, right there. The game would have been over. I would have been locked into Rage Fist versus, like, T-Tar Glim. Like, I have no matchup there. Right? And I forced the Terra. Like, I'm making a fat read here. But I'll just show you how this works. So, Rage Fist goes into the Flamigo. We KO it with the Murkrow here. So, I kind of wasted Terra, but, like, I didn't know what they were doing here. And I didn't want to take, like, yeah, I shouldn't have Terra'd here at all. But, like, I wanted to do this just in case they also had, like, Scarf Flamigo, because, like, I kind of just thought that it might be. And they go for the Power Gem there. And this tells me that instead of making that pivot in T-Tar play that they should have made, they're just going to bring in the T-Tar now, which is still really bad. But because we got the Flamigo off the board, this allows me the ability to use Goldango. And so I'm looking at this board. Because I Fire Terra'd here, I'm like, okay, this guy's just going to Power Gem the Ape and Rock Slide. Rock Slide would break the Murkrow. Like, easiest turn of my life, right? We fade away Tailwind, pivot out Ape for Dango. And remember, they weren't good enough to make the, you know, pivot in T-Tar, block the damage Power Gem turn before. So I'm like, okay, we're fine. We're so fine here. And we might even force a Terra because they don't know what we're doing. And so this is where they hit me with this, and I'm just like, the fuck, bro? So we pivot in. I have no clue, like, what is going through this person's mind, by the way. I think they Terra this turn, and it's such a weird Terra. Yeah, so they Terra their T-Tar. What Terra do you think they Terra their T-Tar? What Terra? It's fairy. It's fairy. And I'm like, gift accepted, bro. Right? Get my Tailwind up. Gift accepted on that T-Tar. Right? They Power Gem, like I said. And then crunch. If I just would have sat there and just brought the Dango out, I would have just won. They don't get the Sandstorm boost anymore. They lost their rock typing. Like, I would just pop both those mons with Dango, and then Mirko just ticks out. They didn't even click Rock Slide. Like, ugh. Now, what's funny about this is I just got double KO'd. This is where, if I was not tilted, right, I still actually have game. Can you believe that? Can you believe that I still actually have game? See, I'm trying to think what I do here. And what I end up locking in is beat up into my Annihilape to give it a +2 boost. And this is a heavy attack Annihilape. And I go for a Rage Fist into the Glamora. And I kind of ignore the T-Tar, right? I think that's a fair play. Because I can eat one Rock Slide if I have to. It's another Rage Fist stack. And then I don't know what their last Mon is. But I'm going to tell you right now. If I were to Final Gambit this Glamora and pop Bomb the Tranitar, I would have won the game. If I were to Final Gambit the Glamora and pop Bomb the T-Tar, I would win. Because my Mousehold beats the last Mon that they have. And, like, there's no way I could have known that. And there's no way I could have known that this Glamora was this bulky. Remember, you only get 2 beat-up stacks here. Maybe I couldn't pop Bomb my own ape. That'd be too deep. But, like, Glim's gonna live. Yep. Never lucky. And, yeah, I mean, sucks. What's the most broken pair in Reg H? In my opinion? It's hard to say. I don't know if I have one. Nowsape's good. I think Dango Mirko is still really good because it sets the tone of the game. Whims got Typhlosion is really good too. P2 Wound is still really good. And they also Earthquaked their Glim. Like, look at that. Look at this. Look at this. They Earthquaked there too. Like, oh, if I just Final Gambited the ape, or the Glamora slot, I won. Because you see their Mon they're going to have in the back here. It's Superior, which I actually outspeed because they're a modest set. So I could OHKO either of those with Pop Bomb. And what's crazy about this is they send out the Superior here. And, like, if they miss a move, I still win, which is, like, nuts. Or if they protect. And we know that T-Tar by this point is vested. It's shown Earthquake. It's shown all the things. We go after that slot, obviously. So we just go for the Pop Bomb. We KO the T-Tar. Yeah, you get spikes if you hit your own Glim. We've made teams that have done that before. So we get the KO on the T-Tar. And, you know, easy peasy. T-Tar goes down for the count. And then if they miss Leaf Storm, we win. But, and 8 times. We would have KO'd even last turn through the Sandstorm chip. They hit the Leaf Storm, we lose. Like, we still almost won. So, like, hindsight, if I just Final Gambited Pop Bombed, I would have just Pop Bombed this Superior and won the game. Never lucky. Alright. This game's sick. This is our last game. Didn't show Orb? No, that was a Sandstorm chip. Because it wasn't a rock type anymore. So this is sick. So we have Murkrow, Ape, Murkrow, Dango, Ape, Mouse. This is the coolest game. This is one of the coolest games of the tournament. So here we go. This guy leads perfectly into Murkrow Dango, by the way. This guy leads This guy is not losing to Murkrow Dango if his life depends on it. He leads Electabuzz Gambit into Murkrow Dango. What an absolute Chad. He has it all. So Murkrow ain't doing me any favors in this matchup. We're gonna pivot for Ape, and we're gonna try and blast. We're just going. We're blasting right into that King Gambit. I'm thinking they might, like, you know, go for an Electro Web. They might go for the Follow Me. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm clicking Focus Blast. And we have to Steel Terra so we don't get OHKO'd by Sucker Punch or Cowtuck Leaf. We don't want to get OHKO'd by either, and we're just blasting. Right? So we pivot in our Ape, and we're trying our best to play around Follow Me, but we're really hoping that they don't Terra and that they don't Follow Me, right? And so you're going to say, that's you're including this game, and all they did is just, like, didn't follow me, and you Focus Blast at Dango? That's not an outplay. Well, they did follow me. And I don't Focus Blast the King Gambit. But we go Steel Terra here. So they're even outplaying like that follow me is so crazy. Like, why would you follow me versus Murkrow Dango? Nutty, right? Like they were scouting for that Focus Blast. They were scouting, and I miss it. And so the real question here is, what do you think's gonna happen now? Oh, because I'm angry now. Oh, we're gaming here. Final Gambit. Let me pause this here. I played against that exact team in my round 5, I believe. Sneasler almost clutched my opponent game, but Dire Claw poisoned my ape. Ooh, and he couldn't get a double. Oh, never lucky. Here we go. He goes for the follow me again. But he doesn't Sucker Punch. He's trying to go after the ape slot because he's not afraid to make it rain. So Final Gambit the Selectabuzz. And then Goldango with the half-court shot. Give me those 3 points out here. You should get 6 points for hitting a half-court shot, by the way. At least 5. Focus Blast! Bro, why didn't you Terra? You could have just Terra'd. You could have Sucker Punched. You could have had it all. Or nothing at all. Down for the count. And you know who can come back in? Murkrow. Just like where we started, but all your Dango Murkrow checks are gone. They belong to me. And this guy's like, actually, I have even more Dango checks. Can't believe this got even more Dango checks. I really thought about this. Like, I don't know anything about those Mons in the back, right? But like, I know that Special Attacker Salamence is good. I know the Prims, there's like 3 Prims. There's potential to be Specs Prims, there's potential to be Throat Spray Prims, and Citrus Prims. And so I'm respecting Citrus and Specs Prims by doing this play. You want to over-respect them this turn. If you go Protect Prim and break my Dango, I still think I win, because if your Prim protects, that means it's not Specs, which means it can't OHKO my last Mon and I win, right? You're thinking it's Specs Ments? I also think that it's Specs Ments. But we're gonna see, like, I'm over-respecting the Prim here. But this is a funny turn. So here we go. And I could protect Dango to see where they Terra and if anyone protects, but that would cost me my Murkrow Sash. And if they go for like a double AoE board and I just lost my Murkrow for nothing, that would be really bad. Like, I would not like that at all. So when they go Fire Terra Ments and they're like, I have even more hatred for Goldango, I'm like, no way, bro. And it's the Protect Prim, and I'm like, dude, no way. Oh my gosh, look at this damage. So there's a Tailwind to outspeed the Ments, right? Tailwind to outspeed Ments. Yeah, it's Terrifier Specs Ments. I just haven't seen it, you know. But, the Ments about to be sad in a sec. Look at this damage. Look at this. Look at this damage, though. Big damage. Oof. Look at that. And, like, I didn't know that it was going to do this to me, right? I thought, I'm like, what's he going to do? Terra Blast my Dango? No, this guy's Special Attacker Heat Wave. I was not planning on losing my Murkrow Sash that turn. I was not planning on it. So, Goldango gets OHKO'd. Sash down, but we win. We win because that Primarina is not choiced, which means it can't, like, OHKO my mouse, right? It's not going to OHKO it. Even if you threw, like, you'd have to Hydro Cannon me. I'm going to live a Hyper Voice. I'm going to live a Moonblast, because it's a Throat Spray set probably, or Citrus, and both don't do anything here. So we just throw damage out. We check the Ments with the mouse. We throw some damage into the Prim, and that's it. That's it. So, yep. And he actually gets a double. Shoutouts to him for getting a double, by the way. Not that I am respecting that slot this turn. We pop bomb in the Salamence here. Look at this damage. And right now I'm like, don't miss, don't miss, don't miss, don't miss. And there it is. Cool. And that's pretty much it. Like, we can check the Prim. Still kind of hoping it's not Citrus. I think it's Throat Spray, though. I think that Prim on this team is definitely like Throat Spray. So we're good to go. And Murkrow Mouse into house out here, taking those big wins. So yeah, these were all the games that I played at my computer. I played a couple games on the couch. Is that Widelands Mouse? It is, yeah, it's Widelands. But look at this damage. The double got him nothing. Yeah, he just got bodied. There's no Citrus. Like, even if it was Citrus, like, we had enough damage to break. So we take those wins, and like I said, I played until I got 1600 on day 1, and I stopped. So that's all my games for the GC today.